One of our favorites. I'll tell you what, entertaining, Bo. This guy, Pete Prisco, senior NFL columnist for CBS.
Doesn't he like to be called Pretty Pete Prisco?
He is pretty.
Doesn't he demand
he does
that?
Sometimes. He does sometimes.
All right.
Pete, good morning. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Man, we're doing all right. You going to practice today?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I figured, hey, by the way, so now that Travis Hunter got nicked up a little bit, I guess he could have played. I heard everything. Anybody cutting back on that? He's going to play 100-plus plays a game on offense and defense, or same thing goes? You think that team reevaluates that a little bit?
No, I think the plan is to play him all the plays on defense and then, maybe 60% of the plays, 70% of the plays on offense. Wow. I think that's the plan.
Wow.
And you're right. I mean, from an endurance standpoint, it's not going to be an issue. The kid's – it's strange how he doesn't get bothered by it. When I talked to him at camp, it was 101 that day, and he came over and he sat with me right after practice, and he had been doing stuff on both sides. I said, hot enough for you out there? He goes, it's not too bad. And I went, what? Because you know me, I like the heat, but it was hot.
Yeah.
Brutally hot. And so and they tell me he has the lungs of a marathon runner. So that's not going to be an issue. The issue is, does the body hold up? And that's going to be the biggest question. But they plan to play him on both sides of the ball a lot.
Yeah, it's just look. I'm like we talk about like the Ohtani pitch. I like the pitching and hitting, and in this, I can relate to this with Travis. But man, I remember he played 60 plays, especially in the heat. I couldn't imagine
doubling that number.
But look, and the guy, I haven't seen him in person, but when I see him, he's kind of a slight guy. He's not a big guy, right?
He's not a thick guy at all.
Yeah, right. And so, But
how many corners? Here's the other thing, though, Bo. You know this: the corners don't tackle a ton anymore.
No. Hey, look, really, with the corners, you need to worry about hamstrings and stuff like that, right? For the most part.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So all that kind of stuff, and then, but I'm looking forward to it. I would like to see him go both ways. It's just I'd like to see him. I'd hate to see him a month in being out for 8 weeks. You know what I mean? Hey, I want to see the guy play because I like him on both sides of the football.
Pete,
here's the other part of it. Yeah. Here's the other part of it. What happens if he plays a couple of years on both sides and he's outstanding at both? Right? Let's just say he's all pro corner and a receiver who catches 60 passes with 8 touchdowns. How do you negotiate that next contract?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's gonna get paid. You're gonna keep doing that. He definitely gonna get paid. What would be realistic numbers in year one for you? Just watching him out there, what would be realistic? Like 4 picks, 3 picks? What?
I think 4 picks is about right. He's gonna. I'm telling you, he's a natural corner. He's a better corner than he is as a receiver.
Okay.
As a receiver, he's got great hands, and he has a great feel for sitting down in zones. The thing that he's worked on and he needs work on is the route running. And, because he was very raw at Colorado, and it's clear that, Edgar Bennett's been a wide receiver coach for a long time. He worked with Devontae Adams, who's maybe the best route runner in the league. And so I think they'll get him going on that, but it might take a year. So I think 4 picks on defense and maybe 50 catches on offense, 45, 50 catch on offense.
Hey, Pete, I'm looking at the depth chart in Jacksonville, and I'm thinking, what kind of team is it going to be? You look at, you certainly, you got Travis, you got Trevor Lawrence, Etienne. I don't know what he's going to do, but I always liked him coming out of college, but I don't
not
think
fumbling the end zone at the end of the game.
So, but about the rest of that team, it's kind of been a mystery to me, that team.
Yeah, and I think, offensively, look, Trevor Lawrence, and you'll see it today, mechanically, they fixed him, I think. I thought he was always a long strider. His motion was a little elongated. And when I saw him in camp and mini camp, I thought it was quicker, faster. He said they worked on it, the footwork. And then you wonder if it carries over to the game. And since you've seen him in the games, it's carried over. And so that's a good sign. So I think he'll be good. I think the passing game could be really good. De'Ami Brown's had a great summer. It gives them some speed. And Brian Thomas is going to be a 1A. He's big-time player. That's a guy that they didn't use enough early last year, and he's become a big-time player. So the passing game is going to be really good. you mentioned ETN. I tell you what, they got a kid, a rookie Tootin, that I think is the real deal. I mean, he's got home run speed from Virginia Tech, knows how to cut. I think ultimately at some point this season he takes over as the lead runner. The question is the offensive line, and they've shuffled guys around. They spent money there. They brought in Hainsey, McCary at right guard, and they've had competition all throughout camp. But how good are they? I think that's the question. They look better. They're coached better. So I think they might be pretty good offensively. Defensively, the question is the middle of the defense. And, Mason Smith and Eric Armstead have been out all summer. Eric Armstead might be playing the old veteran game. I mean, they say he has a back, but he's going to be one of their defensive tackles along with Mason Smith. But I think the important thing is, can they stop the run? I mean, they've had problems over the last couple of years stopping the run. So I think that's the number one priority for that team.
Tony Boselli gets a big role. I didn't see that one coming, to kind of over the top of the general manager to kind of set the tone and reset this thing. Did that surprise you, number one, and how involved is Tony?
Didn't surprise me. I did a radio show with Tony for 9 years in Jacksonville every Monday. And, I put him in, he's actually an employee of the team. So I used to put him in some very bad positions, and I loved doing it. And kind of like I do with you, Joe.
Yeah, I know. I know.
but only we did it.
Hi, Ann. I know that was Pete. I wasn't me, Ann. Damn it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And by the way, that was I do it with him for 2 hours. So think about that for a second. So I mean, it's just like a layup. But now, look, he always wanted to get into that side of it. There were a couple of years ago, he had an opportunity where he thought he might get back into the football, or get into the football side of it, and then it got squashed by the other guy. And so I think it was a smart move by the owner. The owner didn't really have anybody in the building that he could lean on for a lot of stuff. He'd go right to the general manager. Well, the general manager was playing the general manager's angle, so it never worked out that way. So I think it's a good buffer between GM, coach, and owner, and Tony's embraced it. I mean, you'll see him today. He's embraced the entire process. He loves it. He's been involved in it, actively involved in it. He's not making the football decisions, but he's in on all that stuff, and I think he's really come to grips with what he is. And look, he oversees a lot of the stuff in that building, and I think that's important for them.
Can we jump into your prediction for the top 7 playoff spots? Here we go. Bills, number 1, Chiefs, number 2. Bowie's got Ravens 3, Texans 4. They've been winning that division. I get that. The 3 wild card, Broncos, okay. 6, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And the last spot, he went total homer. He went back up to Jacksonville.
Right there,
and
wow.
He went from 4 wins. Why? Let me hear.
Explain to you. Because that division stinks. And by the way,
it's not a very entertaining division, to be honest with you. I mean,
no, it's not.
It's like the New Orleans.
We don't have a lot of room to talk about divisions.
Well, look,
the division's bad. Let's just be real. The division's bad. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward starting in Tennessee. You got Daniel Jones starting for the Colts, and then you got in the Texans. I worry about the Texans' offensive line. I really do.
Well,
I mean, it was a problem last year.
There's not a marquee team in that.
No.
It's just like, oh, okay, it's okay. This is, Midwest. Well, I don't know. It just
9 or 10 wins could get it done again. Yes.
Yeah, I think 9 wins. I think Jacksonville could win 9, and I think the Texans could win 9. I don't think any of them will win in 10 or 11. I'll be honest with you. I just don't. It's not a good division. Whereas in your division, Buffalo's going to run away with it with 14 or 15 wins, and everybody else is going to be looking up at them.
Hey, it's funny? We were talking about this early this morning. I wanted to run this by you. We all agree Josh Allen's one of the best players in football and the MVP. Who's the second best player on a team? I heard somebody say they just got a lot of really good players. And I started going through that roster on both sides. I can't tell you who the second best player is. There's no
on that team?
Yeah. Just
the left tackle's probably
Dawkins.
Yeah, and he's one of the better left tackles in the league.
Running back.
Running back. Yeah, he's good, but I don't know. Bosa when he's healthy. I mean, they got him in bubble wrap until December. That's what they don't care about.
Joey's on his last. He's on that. He's on that twilight tour.
I think they're really policing his program to get him through the season.
I think they need to. I mean, the history. His history over the last couple of years is just you get him on the field, and if he can play at that level,
plays great.
But he plays great. But he's in and out, which is he's been in the league for quite a while now.
Yeah, here's the other thing about that team. They're the only team in the league, I think I've heard this in years. All 10 of their top offensive linemen came back this year. That doesn't happen.
No.
So there's where they have strength on the offensive line. And by the way, defensively, the two rookies they added in the middle, the Sanders kid from South Carolina and Walker from Kentucky, big body kids. All of a sudden now you look at their defense, they're deep on that defensive line now too. Russo looks like, he's gigantic. And then you get Bosa, you get, the Hoyt kid, he's going to be suspended for 6 games. Okunjobi's going to be suspended. But when they all come back and, after 6 games, they're going to have to cut a good football player. That's how deep they are on that defensive line. So the corner still remains a concern. Hairston got banged up, the first-round pick, and he's been out for a while. But I think as a whole, you're right. They don't have a star on defense that you go, okay, fourth quarter, who do we identify? Got to block him and make if we have a chance to move the football. They don't have that.
Yeah,
but they will come at you in waves on both offensive and defensive line.
The other thing, much like you could take the top 4, a very well coached team, right? I mean, the coaching on that team to me is among the top 5.
They put
teams.
Their guys in a good position.
Yes, they do.
I
They
agree.
put them in a position to win. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Brady's going to be a head coach as an offensive coordinator. I don't think there's any question about that. What he's done for Josh Allen and cut down the mistakes is big. And then on the other side, Bob Babbitt is a good young defensive coordinator. And then they have Aaron Kromer as their offensive line coach. He might be one of the best, if not the best, in the league. So you're right. The coaching matters, and I think that shows up with the Bills.
Hey, speaking of 4-win teams, people love the Patriots right now, and of course, the overreaction to preseason football. You talk about it all the time. What do you think of the Patriots, and how quickly can this thing come together with all that money they spent?
Yeah, I think they're a year away. I think they're going to be feisty, competitive, tough. They're going to be a hard out every week for everybody in that division and whoever they play. But I think they're a year away from pushing for something more and, pushing the Bills. I just do. I think when you have that new group coming together, it's hard to bring them all together quickly like that. And then, the offensive line still has some major questions. You're starting a rookie left tackle and there's some other questions on that offensive line. So I think a year away is where they are. But boy, I'll tell you what, they're going to be a tough out week in and week out because, Vrabel's going to bring that physical style and he's going to bring that mentality to the team. And you also have a heck of a second-year quarterback who I think is going to take a leap forward.
So how do you stack up the AFC East?
Do you really want me to say that?
No, we want you to. Yeah, I want to hear this.
Number one, Buffalo's number 1. I think New England will push for 2, probably put them at 2. I'd probably put the Jets at 3, and I'd probably put Miami at 4.
Ooh, yeah.
No, Pete's been consistent though. He just not.
You're on Miami radio. Come on, Pete.
I said that when I was there for training camp and we did our hits. I said that on the air, and every Miami Dolphins fan in the world got all over me. So I said they were the worst team in the division.
Look, I do. Look, when you say New England,
they're better in some spots though. I give them that. That defensive line could be nasty.
Yeah.
In Miami.
Look, I agree. I think New England. I think they did well in free agency, and I think they did well in the draft. They better
do real well at right tackle.
They need a year to mature, right? That's kind of.
Yeah, and then the Jets. The Jets have a good roster, but is Fields going to take?
Yeah.
That's the question there. And then in Miami, you have questions in the secondary. My gosh, there's a ton of questions back there. And then the offensive line has to come together. I think that's a major question too. And by the way, I love what I've seen from Paul. You guys know, I told you I love Paul when he came out. He was one of my favorite guys, and he's been good. He's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Pete, it's great having you, man. I'll see you out there. I'm going to save a seat. Bo and I are going to save a seat up there in the corner so we can get you going a little bit. All right.
You know me. I'll be going. That's for sure. All right, guys.
We know
Take
that.
care.
Pete Prisco, thank you, bud. Senior NFL columnist for CBS, joining us this morning. You had to ask him that last question, and you knew you're sitting here. Here he goes. Yeah, he's not feeling great about the Miami Dolphins. All right.